Hey everyone, and welcome. If you're getting ready for the AI-900 exam, you're in exactly the right place. I'm a certified instructor, and my goal today is to walk you through everything you really need to know to pass the Azure AI Fundamentals certification. So let's just jump right in. So you're starting your AI-900 journey. I get it. Looking at the exam objectives can feel a little intimidating, right? But I want to put your mind at ease. This exam is truly designed for everyone. It honestly doesn't matter if you're super technical or coming from a business background. This is all about getting a handle on the core concept. That's right, the big secret here is that it's about concepts, not code. We're going to focus on the what and the why of AI services because that's what's going to help you ace this thing. And hey, as we go through this together, if you find this explainer helpful, do me a quick favor and hit that like button and subscribe. It really does help other people who are on the same study path find this guide. Okay, so here's our game plan for today. We'll start with the absolute basics, then get into the differences between AI, machine learning, and deep learning. We'll look at common AI jobs in Azure, tackle the big one, generative AI, and then cover the crucial rules of responsible AI. And of course, we'll wrap up with some solid tips for passing your exam. All right, first things first. Let's get these terms straight. Understanding the difference between AI, machine learning, and deep learning is the foundation for everything else. So artificial intelligence, or AI, you should think of this as the biggest, broadest category. It's really the whole science of making software do smart things, things that normally require human intelligence. It's the giant umbrella that covers pretty much everything, from your email spam filter all the way to a self-driving car. Now, this is a key distinction. Where does machine learning, or ML, fit in? Well, it's not a separate thing. It's a way to achieve AI. See, with old-school programming, you'd have to write a million if-then rules. With ML, you don't do that. Instead, you just show the computer a ton of examples, and it learns the rules for itself. It's a lot like teaching a toddler to recognize a cat by showing them pictures of cats, not by describing what a cat is. And now we have deep learning. Think of this as a super-powered, advanced type of machine learning. It gets its name because it uses these complex structures called neural networks that have many, many layers, hence deep. These are loosely inspired by the structure of the human brain, and honestly, this is the magic behind some of the most mind-blowing AI we see today, like incredibly realistic image generation and, yes, those self-driving cars. Okay, some key terms you absolutely have to know. First, features. These are just your inputs, the data you give the model. So for predicting a house price, the features are things like its square footage, number of bedrooms, location, you get it. Then there's the label. That's simply the thing you're trying to predict. In this case, the house price itself. And this leads to supervised learning, which is when you train your model with data that already has the correct label. You're supervising it. The opposite is unsupervised learning, where you just give it a bunch of data with no labels and say, hey, go find some interesting patterns for me. So now that we've got the vocabulary down, let's talk about the practical side. How do we actually put this stuff to work to solve real problems using Azure's AI services? This table breaks down the 3 big machine learning jobs you'll see. First up, regression. Anytime you need to predict a specific number, like a future house price or next quarter's sales, that's a regression problem. Next is classification. This is about putting things into buckets or classes. Is this email spam or not spam? Is this tumor malignant or benign? That's classification. And finally, clustering. This is what you use when you don't have labels and you want the AI to find natural groupings in your data, like segmenting your customers into different buying groups. Okay, let's switch gears to computer vision. This one's pretty easy to remember. It's all about one goal, giving computers the ability to see. We want them to look at an image or a video and actually understand what's in it, just like our own eyes and brain do. So the most basic task in computer vision is image classification. It's super straightforward. The AI takes a look at this whole picture and just gives it one single label. In this case, it might just say, yep, that's a street scene. It's looking at the forest, not the individual trees. But what if you need more detail? Well, that's where object detection comes in. This is a big step up. Now the AI doesn't just label the whole image. It actually finds individual objects within the image, like that bus and that car, and draws a box around them to show you exactly where they are. Way more powerful. All right, so we've covered seeing. What about understanding language? That's where natural language processing, or NLP, comes in. Think about it. How does a service translate text instantly or figure out if a product review is positive or negative? That's all NLP. It's the magic behind key phrase extraction, sentiment analysis, translation, and of course, those chatbots we talk to all the time. Okay, let's talk about the topic that's on everyone's mind right now,
generative AI. This is a massive part of the updated AI-900 exam, and for good reason. It's a total game changer. So let's demystify what it's all about.
So, what's the big deal? Well, traditional AI is all about predicting or classifying based on data it's already seen. But generative AI, it actually creates brand new, totally original content. We're talking text, images, music, even code. It does this using something called a large language model, or LLM, which has been trained on just an unbelievable amount of data. And how do you control it? You guide it using prompts, which are basically just your instructions.
Okay, as you can imagine, with this kind of power comes a whole lot of responsibility. And that brings us to a super important topic, both for the exam and for the real world: responsible AI. We have to be able to trust the systems we're building.
Microsoft has laid out 6 core principles that should guide every single AI project. They are fairness, reliability and safety, privacy and security, inclusiveness, transparency, and accountability. The whole point of these is to make sure we're building AI that's ethical, that we're minimizing risks, and that we're building systems people can actually trust. So let's think about a real-world scenario. What happens if an AI model makes a mistake? And not just any mistake, but a harmful one. Say, in an autonomous vehicle. I mean, this isn't just a hypothetical question, right? The stakes can be incredibly high. And that's exactly why the principle of reliability and safety is so critical. It means our AI systems must be rigorously, exhaustively tested to make sure they perform safely and consistently, especially when the stakes are high. It's about building systems that are dependable and won't cause harm. Okay, we've covered a ton of ground. You have the concepts down. Now let's switch into exam mode and talk strategy. I want to give you a few final tips to make sure you walk into that exam feeling confident and ready to succeed. Here are my top tips for exam day. First, time management is key. You've got 45 minutes. If a question stumps you, don't get bogged down. Flag it and move on. Second, always try to eliminate the answers you know are wrong. That seriously improves your odds. And if you're still not sure, make an educated guess. These questions are designed to test your understanding, not to trick you, so trust your gut.
Look, we've gone through it all, from the core concepts of AI and machine learning to the services and the absolutely critical principles of responsible AI. You've got this. You have the knowledge. You are ready.
So the only question left is, now that you know what's possible with this technology, what problem are you gonna solve first? I really hope this explainer has been valuable for you. If it was, please hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future certification guides. Seriously, good luck on your exam. You're gonna do great.